Today you'll be hearing from Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office Under Sheriff Craig Bonner. He's going to talk to you about the Sheriff's Office response and our investigation into this incident today. And then you'll hear from Special Agent in Charge Ted Docks from the FBI regarding their investigation. And then we'll turn it over to Court Executive Officer Daryl Parker. He's going to talk to you about ongoing operations of the court facility. And then we'll close out with a Q&A. And we just want to underscore that what we're trying to do today is we're really working to balance sharing information quickly with the public while working on a very intricate and ongoing investigation. And so with that, I'd like to hand it over to Under Sheriff Craig Bonner.
Thank you, Raquel, and thank you for all being here to help us get this information out. So at approximately 8:48 this morning, the Sheriff's Office received a report of an explosion at the Santa Maria Court Complex near Department 9. The initial report included that a single individual entered the facility and threw a bag at the screening station. That bag exploded. Initially, we were told that at least 2 people had injuries and that an adult male suspect had been detained by a court security officer, a sheriff's deputy, and CHP officers. Additional units from the Santa Maria Police Department, the Sheriff's Office, CHP, fire, and medical personnel responded to assist with this incident. Ultimately, 4 victims were transported from the scene to an area hospital, and 1 additional victim arrived at the hospital on their own. 3 of the 5 people seen at the hospital were physically injured with non-life-threatening injuries, including burns. All of these victims were treated and released by the hospital. To be clear, I want to assure everyone at the onset of this press conference that at this point we do not believe there are any additional community safety concerns at this time. The male suspect has been identified as 20-year-old Nathaniel McGuire of Santa Maria. He was detained outside the courthouse as he tried to enter his red car that was parked in the southeast parking lot. McGuire was alone when he was apprehended and was wearing body armor underneath his jacket. He did not have any physical injuries from the explosion. Responders established a perimeter of approximately 5 blocks around the court compound and evacuated the courthouse, surrounding homes, businesses, and a school. The Sheriff's Office bomb squad responded to the scene. In the hours that followed, the bomb squad worked to render the scene safe and checked for any additional unexploded devices in the courthouse, the suspect's vehicle, and at his residence in Santa Maria. Through their interviews, the detectives learned that McGuire's motivation appeared to have stemmed from a recent arrest by the Sheriff's Office on July 28, 2024 for firearms violations. In that case, deputies discovered and seized a loaded and concealed revolver that was in McGuire's pants pocket and was not registered to him. His arraignment for that case was scheduled for this morning in Department 9 at the court compound behind us. Our detectives are also working with Santa Barbara County Fire to explore if the suspect is associated with several recent additional arson fires. Our detectives are in the process of serving warrants at both McGuire's car and his home, and McGuire is being booked at our Northern Branch Jail for felonies including a 664-187 attempt murder, PC, Penal Code Section 18745, using an explosive device in attempting to kill someone, PC 18720, possession of explosive devices. All of these will be held on a no bail. Although this is an ongoing investigation and we are exploring all possible angles, at this point in time we do believe that this to be a local incident committed by a local individual with a local grievance stemming from his arrest. We are not absolutely ruling out that there is not something larger at play, but at this time we do believe this is a local matter that has been safely resolved and that there are no outstanding community safety concerns. We'll be sharing his booking photo, and we are asking the public to contact our detectives with any investigation they feel may be relevant to this investigation. You can reach our anonymous tip line at 805-681-4171. I'd also like to take a moment to thank all of the agencies, our partners, who have assisted us greatly in this incident. They were crucial to the successful resolution of the incident. This includes the Santa Maria Police Department, our Santa Barbara County District Attorney investigators, the Triumph security guard who stood up and stopped this individual, the California Highway Patrol, American Medical Response, Santa Maria Fire, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation, as well as the men and women of the Santa Barbara Sheriff's Office who have and will continue to ensure the safety of our local community. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to FBI Special Agent in Charge, Ted Dobbs.
Thank you, Sheriff. Thank you, Undersheriff. The FBI has opened a federal investigation into this incident. We have brought all available resources to our local partners, including our evidence response team, crisis response team, and special agent bomb technicians and investigators. Members of our Victim Services Division are also on hand to help those who have been impacted by this tragedy. There is no additional threat to public safety at this time. It is premature to discuss a motive right now. However, we will follow all logical investigative processes. The FBI has opened an investigation in collaboration with the Santa Barbara Sheriff's Office and the United States Attorney's Office. What we know at this point is this incident is not tied to transnational terrorism, and the suspect has no known ties to terrorist groups. Anyone with tips from this incident can contact the local number the Undersheriff provided, or they can also call the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI. As always, we urge the members of the public to remain vigilant, and if you see something, please say something. At this time, I will turn it over to the Court Executive Officer, Daryl Parker. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. First, I want to let everybody know that the court takes the security of those attending court proceedings, the public, jurors, the employees, the judges, staff, the lawyers in our community very seriously. We'll thoroughly review this incident to make sure that we can take whatever steps are necessary to reduce the chance of this ever happening again in the court. And then we'd like to thank the law enforcement professionals for their response. The Sheriff's Department, Santa Maria Police Department, the FBI, Steve from the Triumph Security. Way to go, Steve. Great job today. Many of those who attend court know him personally. And the DA investigators who rapidly responded on the scene today as well. Outstanding work. As this is an ongoing investigation, as we've heard from law enforcement, the court is going to remain closed tomorrow. We closed for throughout today. We'll remain closed tomorrow to stay clear of the investigation scene so law enforcement can complete their work as thoroughly as possible, and we can not impede that process. More information about when we will reopen will be available on the court's website at sbcourts.org. There were a couple of trials scheduled to go tomorrow, and I'm sure jurors are interested in that. Those trials will not be going forward tomorrow. Many of those jurors, if you're watching, you've signed up for text messages. You'll receive text message updates about the status of those trials, but could also look at the court's website. On occasions like this, when there are emergencies, the court cannot close without consulting the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. We've done that earlier today and got an order from the Chief Justice declaring an emergency that allowed us to close and extend the time to complete filings and other court events that normally would have expired by operation of time on a day like this. So it's deemed a court holiday for those purposes of calculating time frames. So those persons who might have a restraining order that expired today that they were seeking to extend, those will naturally be extended by the Chief Justice's order. And our presiding judge, Pauline Maxwell, is issuing today an implementation order which makes effective the Chief Justice's authority. So again, if you're looking for more information upon coming to court tomorrow, go to the court's website at sbcourts.org. Thanks for your time today.
Friday still
Yes, it is. Thank you.
News Hawk jumping right in there. I'm sure we've got a lot more other questions. Is there anybody with any additional questions that we can try and answer for you? Yes, right here.
Can you confirm if the victims were court employees or civilians?
So the question is if we can confirm whether or not the victims were civilians or court employees, or what their relationship to the court was.
There were no court employees. I believe they were all civilians.
Okay.
None of the court employees were injured during today's incident. I believe they were all persons that just attending court proceedings. I don't know what their status was of attending, but none of the court employees. And I got to thank the court employees for their quick response in evacuating. They really rapidly followed the sheriff's orders to make sure that the scene was cleared as quickly as possible. Thanks for the question.
Yes, right here.
I was curious if you could describe the scene of what it looked like. I think a lot of people, when they hear an explosive went off inside a courthouse, they can think of a really big fire or what broken building. Can you please describe what exactly the damage was and what the explosive actually did?
So can we discuss the extent of damage, maybe the impact to the building, if there was any? I know that we're still working with our bomb squad is working to clear a lot of the facilities. So all of that information, we need to allow them time to get in there and to, render that scene safe and make sure, in addition to just the immediate area, they're searching an entire building over here as well as offsite locations. So that information loop does take a minute to get back to us. So it doesn't sound like at this time we have that information available for you. Yes.
Was the Montiago apartment complex evacuation on Henry Avenue related to the same individual?
Yes.
So the Henry Avenue, yes, correct. The suspect's residence was also searched. That's part of our process that we're working through right now, and so that would have affected that apartment complex as well.
Will this be filed as a state local case or as a federal case? Has that been decided?
So the question is which court, if it's going to be state or federal, where the charges will be filed.
So initially, they are being arrested and booked on local charges. However, we are working with the FBI and the AUSA, and ultimately it may become federal charges, or it may stay as local charges. But for right now, the suspect is being booked on local charges.
Can you spell the suspect's name?
The first name is Nathaniel, common spelling, but it's Nathaniel, and the last is McGuire, McGuire.
Does McGuire have a capital G or is it lowercase?
Does McGuire have a capital G? It is capitalized, yes. Yes.
The suspect was being heard yelling something, perhaps yelling out about the FDA, calling someone a traitor. Do we know anything of what he was yelling about?
So I don't know if we have the suspect's statements on scene available for release yet. It is part of our ongoing investigation in establishing what his intent was here today. But as of right now, it seems very focused on response to a previous arrest by the sheriff's office. Yes.
Are you able to give details about what was found in his residence?
We're still working on that scene, and again, that's not information that we have available for release just yet.
Will there be any changes to court security going through that particular door in the future?
So, I don't know if you want to comment on that, Daryl, but I would venture to guess that as part of the review that Daryl mentioned, that that would be taken into account based on whatever the findings of that are. At this point right now, it's a bit difficult for him to make that review because we are still in there conducting a search. Yes.
I just want to clarify that the explosive was thrown from before where things get screened in the security, so he hadn't gotten screened yet.
Yeah, so my undersheriff is telling me that is correct, yes.
And then Special Agent Dox, can you spell your first and last name, please?
First name is T-E-D.
Okay, just one D?
Yes.
Okay.
Last name is D as in David, O-C-K-S as in Sam.
Gotcha. Thank you.
All right, and I'm not seeing any more hands, so that's going to wrap. Oh, wait, well,
I heard the court is going to be closed tomorrow. How about the local streets? How long will the closures last here in front of the courthouse?
So that's dependent upon our bomb squad's ability to clear a rather large area. So my intention is to work with the city of Santa Maria to share that information through both of our platforms. So follow or look for that information on the Sheriff's Office Twitter account. As soon as we're clear, then we'll be able to ask the police department to release those street closures. And we do really appreciate the public's patience with this and avoiding the area. We know that we did shut down a significant area of the center part of this city, and I know that it did impact a lot of people's days, and so we're very thankful for people being patient with the inconvenience. Yes.
Is this the first time in your knowledge that this has happened in this courthouse, or even a courthouse in Santa Barbara County, something like this happened?
I've been with the Sheriff's Office for 20 years. I don't recall anything, but Bonner's been here for longer, so I'll defer to him.
We might actually ask Daryl to come up too, but in my 31 years, this is the first time we've ever had somebody throw an explosive at the courthouse.
A couple years ago, we had somebody break into the courthouse and set fire to a courtroom, but nothing like this. We've never had an incident like this.
Can you just clarify if the car is still on scene in the parking lot?
I believe that our detectives are still working on that car. Yes.
And then for residents who might have fear now going to the courthouse, or fear about I think something like this happening can bring up a lot of feelings. What's something that they should know, or something that you want to tell them?
Sure. So what I do want to say is that, while there's always room for improvement, the system did work, right? This individual did not make it past the secure checkpoint at the courthouse facility. And ultimately, and that's why I repeated it twice earlier, is that we are, although we are continuing to fully investigate and aren't ruling out things, this appears to be concluded as it relates to the community safety concern, right? This is an individual with an individual grievance that, came here and did something at our courthouse facility. But we do not believe there is an immediate community concern at this point in time.
Yes.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Is there anything that you think that the public might misunderstand or might misconstrue about what occurred today, and that you want to make sure is really explicitly clear for them?
I'm not noting any misunderstanding and follow-up questions. I think it was just kind of a matter of getting as much information out as quickly as we could to reassure the public about their safety, but also to kind of let them know about, what areas we need them to avoid, what we need from them so that we can effectively conduct our investigation. So I think that, we answered those as quickly as possible.
And then there was a video shared on X/Twitter, and I believe it's in the parking lot, and it shows some men in blue suits. It's kind of a video that some people are assuming what's going on. Have you seen that video, and are you able to clarify what's going on in that?
I've not seen that video yet, but I can tell you that we have not released any videos, so that source is not from the Sheriff's Office, which is not to say that there wasn't a bazillion people out there recording with their cell phones, because that's a thing. So, yeah.
Was
All right.
the arrest made inside or outside?
Outside. All right. Well, again, thank you all for coming out and also for your patience. I know you guys, a lot of you were sticking it out, all day with us, and, we appreciate your patience as well as the patience of the public. And again, street closure information is going to be shared by the Sheriff's Office as well as the Police Department. And thank you all very much for coming out.